3 days passed while Samantha and Zia waited for the Earth Council to make their decision. During that time, they continued to work on communication. The translator had made significant progress, allowing them to have basic conversations. Samantha learned more about the Celestial Alliance and the threat they faced. The enemy called themselves the Void Walkers, a species that consumed resources and left dead planets in their wake. They did not communicate or negotiate. They simply took what they wanted. Zia explained that her people had been fighting a defensive war against them for centuries. "Why did you wait so long to contact us?" Samantha asked one evening as they shared a meal. Zia eating specially prepared nutrient paste that Samantha had formulated based on Zia's biology. She looked down, her 4 hands moving in what Samantha now recognized as a gesture of discomfort. "We were not sure you were ready. Your species is young, unpredictable. You fight among yourselves for resources, when your planet has enough for all." Samantha could not argue with this assessment. Humans had only recently united under the Earth Council, after centuries of war and conflict. Even now there were factions that resisted cooperation. She continued, "We watched and waited. Some among the Alliance feared you would become like the Void Walkers, taking and destroying. But others saw potential. Your creativity, your resilience, your capacity for growth. These qualities are rare among spacefaring species." The communication console chimed, interrupting their conversation. The Earth Council had reached a decision. Catherine Wells appeared on screen, her expression serious. "Dr. Green, the Council has voted. We will meet with the representative of the Celestial Alliance. A delegation will arrive at Mars Colony 6 in 2 weeks' time. Until then, you are to continue gathering information. We need to know everything about these Void Walkers and the technology the Alliance is offering." Samantha felt relief flood through her. It was not a full alliance yet, but it was a start. The Council was at least willing to listen. She looked at Zia, who had been watching the exchange. Her alien features were difficult to read, but Samantha thought she detected a similar relief. The next 2 weeks were busy. Zia shared information about celestial technology, much of it far beyond current human understanding. Their ships traveled through space using what she called fold gates, creating temporary wormholes between points. Their weapons were primarily defensive, designed to contain and redirect energy, rather than destroy. Their medicine could heal injuries that would be fatal to humans and extend lifespans by hundreds of years. Samantha recorded everything, creating detailed reports for the Council. She knew that some of this technology, particularly the medical advances, would be revolutionary for humanity, but she also worried about how it might be used. Humans had a history of turning beneficial discoveries into weapons. The delegation arrived exactly 14 days later. 3 ships landed near the research station. The main vessel carried Catherine Wells and 5 Council members. The other 2 ships held security personnel and scientific experts. Samantha stood at the airlock waiting to greet them, Zia beside her. The alien woman had changed her appearance slightly, making herself less intimidating. Her blue skin was now a softer shade, and she kept 2 of her 4 arms folded behind her back to appear more human-like. The delegation entered, led by Catherine Wells, a tall woman with silver hair and a commanding presence. She looked at Zia with undisguised curiosity, then turned to Samantha. "Dr. Green, we received your reports. Most impressive." She returned her gaze to Zia. "I am Catherine Wells, Secretary General of the United Earth Council. I speak for humanity in this matter." Zia stepped forward and made a graceful gesture with her visible hands. "I am Zia, Ambassador of the Celestial Alliance. I bring greetings from the 7 worlds of our coalition." The translator worked perfectly, converting her musical language into clear English. The Council members looked impressed. "Let us speak plainly," Catherine said. "Your people have been observing us for centuries without making contact. Now you come with warnings of an enemy and offers of advanced technology. Many on the Council suspect a trap." Samantha started to protest, but Zia raised a hand to stop her. "Your caution is understandable," she said. "If our positions were reversed, my people would likely have the same concerns. Allow me to show you why we have come now." She moved to a console and activated a holographic display. The air in the center of the room shimmered, and an image appeared. It showed Earth from space, beautiful and blue. Then the image changed, showing a fleet of dark angular ships approaching the solar system. The void. Walkers will reach your system within 1 Earth year. She said, they have detected your transmissions, your technology, your resources. They will not communicate. They will not negotiate. They will take what they want and leave your world. Lifeless. One of the council members, a woman named Diane Foster, spoke up. Why should we believe this? Is there proof? These void walkers even exist. In response, Xia changed the display, showing a planet similar to Earth, green and vibrant. Then the image shifted, showing the same planet years later, barren and gray with massive mining operations covering its surface. Finally, the planet appeared, cracked open, its resources completely harvested. This was Nera, third world of the Talaxian system, home to 6 billion sentient beings. All gone now. Their civilization, their art, their knowledge, everything taken or destroyed. This happened 20 of your years ago. The Void Walkers moved from system to system, consuming all in their path. The council members were silent, shocked by the images. Samantha had seen them before, but they still filled her with dread. What do you propose? Catherine asked, her voice steady despite the disturbing display. An alliance, Xia replied. We will share technology to help you defend your world. Build ships with fold gate capability. Create shield systems for your planet and colonies. In return, we ask for your help in the greater conflict. Your species has qualities mine lacks. You adapt quickly. You think in ways we do not. Your warriors possess a courage that my people admire. Another council member, Marcus Chen, spoke up. You said, your technology is primarily defensive. How can we fight an enemy like this with shields and healing devices? She turned to him. Defense buys time. Time to find other solutions. My people have survived by avoiding direct confrontation. We hide our worlds. Use decoys, create sanctuaries, but the Void Walkers grow stronger. Each world they take adds to their fleet, their resources. Sooner or later, they will find all our hiding places. We need a new approach. And you think humans have this new approach, Catherine? Astja nodded. Your history is filled with examples of overcoming superior forces through innovation, through unexpected strategies. The Void Walkers are powerful but rigid. They do not adapt well to surprises. Together, our defense and your offense might succeed where either alone would fail. The council withdrew to discuss the proposal, leaving Samantha and Xia waiting. The hours stretched on as decisions that would affect both species were debated. Finally, Catherine emerged alone. She looked tired but resolved. The council has voted. We will form a provisional alliance with the Celestial Alliance. A joint task force will be established to begin implementing defensive measures around Earth and Mars. Technology exchange will begin immediately, but under strict protocols. Samantha felt herself breathe again. The first hurdle had been crossed, but Catherine wasn't finished. There is one condition. Dr. Green, you will serve as the human liaison to the Celestial Alliance. You know Xia better than anyone else, and she seems to trust you. The council believes this connection will be valuable. Samantha was surprised, but not displeased. The assignment meant she would continue working with Xia, continue learning about the Celestial Alliance and their technology. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. I accept, she said. Catherine nodded. Then it's settled. The details will be worked out in the coming days. For now, the delegation will return to Earth to begin preparations. A science team will remain here to start the technology exchange. After the Secretary General left, Samantha turned to Xia. The alien woman was looking out the window at the Mars landscape. Did your council also have a difficult decision? She asked. Xia turned, her swirling eyes meeting Samantha's. Some wanted no contact at all. They believed humans would eventually destroy themselves. Others argued that your potential outweighed the risk. The decision to send me was not unanimous, like the Earth Council. Samantha mused. Perhaps our species are not so different after all. She made a sound that Samantha had come to recognize as laughter. Perhaps not. Though physically we could hardly be more different. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. The science team worked with Xia, learning about celestial technology. Samantha acted as intermediary, helping to translate complex concepts between the species. Progress was rapid, but not without challenges. Many of the scientific principles behind celestial technology had no equivalent in human science. The team had to learn entirely new ways of thinking. During a rare moment of quiet, Samantha found Jia in the observation dome staring up at the stars. The alien woman seemed lost in thought. "What are you thinking about?" Samantha asked, joining her. Jia replied, "My world orbits a star you cannot see from here. It is beautiful like your Earth, but very different. Our cities blend with the natural environment rather than replacing it. Our buildings grow rather than being built. It sounds wonderful," Samantha said. "Do you miss it?" The bright flash of light made Samantha Green shield her eyes as she stepped through the door of her small research station on Mars Colony 6. The strange object had crashed less than a mile from her outpost, and as the lead scientist, it was her job to investigate. She pulled her environment suit tighter around her body and checked her oxygen levels one more time. The red landscape of Mars stretched out before her, barren and beautiful in its own way. After 5 years on this planet, she had grown used to the rusty-colored dirt and the thin atmosphere, but she never stopped appreciating the alien beauty of her surroundings. As she approached the crash site, Samantha noticed something odd. The ground around the object was undisturbed, almost as if it had not crashed at all but landed gently. The object itself was smooth and oval-shaped with no visible seams or openings. Its surface shimmered with an iridescent purple glow that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Samantha activated her scanner and circled the object carefully. The readings made no sense. The material was unlike anything in human databases, and it emitted no radiation or heat. Yet there was energy there, something her instruments could detect, but not identify. She reached out one gloved hand, unable to resist touching the strange surface. The moment her fingers made contact, the object hummed, and a seam appeared. The top half of the oval lifted, revealing a hollow interior. Inside, curled in what looked like a sleeping position, was a being. Samantha gasped and stumbled backward, her heart racing. She had just made first contact with an alien species. The being uncurled slowly, revealing a humanoid shape but with distinct differences. Its skin was a deep blue color with patterns that reminded Samantha of star constellations. It had 4 arms, all slender and graceful. Its face was delicate, with large almond-shaped eyes that opened to reveal irises that swirled with colors. Samantha stood frozen as the alien rose from its pod. It was taller than her by at least a foot. Its movements were fluid, almost like it was moving underwater. The alien looked at Samantha, tilting its head in what seemed like curiosity. Then it raised one of its hands in what might have been a greeting. Samantha swallowed hard and raised her own hand, mirroring the gesture. 20 years of space exploration and scientific research had not prepared her for this moment. No human had ever encountered intelligent alien life before. This changed everything. The alien spoke, its voice melodic and unlike any language Samantha had ever heard. She shook her head, trying to indicate she could not understand. It tried again, this time touching its chest and making a sound that Samantha guessed might be its name. Shathil, it seemed to say. Samantha touched her own chest and spoke clearly. "Samantha." The alien repeated her name, its pronunciation perfect. It touched its chest again. "Shathil." Despite the strangeness of the situation, Samantha felt a smile spread across her face. They were communicating. It was basic, but it was a start. She gestured toward her research station visible in the distance, and then back at the alien, inviting it to follow her. The alien seemed to understand, and nodded, a surprisingly human gesture. Samantha wondered if it had been studying humans. She turned and began walking back toward the station, looking back frequently to make sure the alien was following. Back at the station, Samantha faced a dilemma. Protocol required her to report the alien immediately to Earth Command, but something told her to wait, to learn more before letting the bureaucrats and military take over. She had spent her career searching for signs of life beyond Earth. This was her discovery, and she wanted time to understand it before others interfered. The alien stood in the center of her lab, looking around with obvious interest. It seemed particularly fascinated by the photographs Samantha had pinned to her wall pictures of Earth, of her family, of the other scientists at the colony. Samantha activated her universal translator, a device designed to learn and decode new languages. It would take time, but it might help them communicate. She spoke into it clearly. "My name is Samantha. I come from planet Earth. I am a human." The alien listened and then spoke again. The translator recorded the sounds but could not yet interpret them. Samantha pointed to various objects in the room, naming them in English. The alien seemed to understand what she was doing and began to point at objects speaking in its own language. Hours passed as they worked on basic communication. The alien learned quickly, seeming to grasp the structure of English faster than the translator could decode its language. Samantha learned that the alien was female, or at least identified with what humans would consider female pronouns. Her name was something like Za-Thiel, though Samantha shortened it to Zia for simplicity. By the time Mars night fell, Samantha had learned that Zia came from a star system hundreds of light years from Earth. Her people were called the Celestial Alliance, a coalition of 7 different species who had been observing humanity for centuries. This information both excited and disturbed Samantha. They had been watching us without our knowledge, without making contact until now. Why, as if reading her thoughts. Shia pointed to the computer and made a gesture that Samantha had learned meant she wanted to show something. Samantha hesitated, then nodded. She moved aside, allowing Xia access to the terminal. To her surprise, Xia knew exactly how to use the Earth technology. Her 4 hands moved across the keyboard with incredible speed. Soon the screen filled with images that made Samantha gasp. They showed another alien species. These creatures were nothing like Xia. They were dark, almost shadow-like, with sharp angles and predatory features. The images showed them destroying worlds. Their ships blackened the skies of planets that soon after burned. Samantha understood the message. These were enemies, a threat, and they were coming toward Earth. She pointed to herself, then to Samantha, and made a gesture that seemed to indicate unity, togetherness. She had come to warn humanity to help them prepare. Samantha sank into her chair, overwhelmed. Earth had just discovered they were not alone in the universe, and now they learned they were in danger. She looked at Zia, who waited patiently for her reaction. The protocol was clear. Any first contact situation had to be reported immediately, but Samantha now understood why Zia had sought her out specifically. A military response would not help against the threat coming toward Earth. They needed understanding, cooperation, and the advanced technology Shia could provide. Samantha made her decision. She would help Zia. She would be the bridge between their species. Together, they would convince Earth to prepare, not with weapons, but with knowledge. She looked at the alien woman and nodded firmly. "I will help you, Xia. We need to contact Earth together." Xia seemed to understand. She placed one of her 4 hands on Samantha's shoulder in a gesture of what might have been gratitude, or perhaps comfort. That night, as Mars smaller, moons cast pale light through the research station windows. Samantha sent a message to Earth 1 that would forever change human history. The message was simple and profound. We are not alone, and we need to prepare. The response was immediate. A flood of questions, demands for more information, orders to secure the alien. As Samantha had feared, the military aspects of Earth Command wanted Zia contained, studied, perhaps even imprisoned until they could determine if she was a threat. Samantha looked at Zia, who watched the incoming messages with those swirling color eyes. She seemed sad but not surprised. She had known this might happen. What Zia did next astonished Samantha. She placed her 4 hands on the communication console, and suddenly, the screen changed. The incoming messages stopped, replaced by a direct line to the United Earth Council. The highest governing body of humanity woman appeared on screen. Her expression shocked at the sudden override of Earth Command's communications protocols. It was Catherine Wells, the Secretary General of the United Earth Council. Before Catherine could speak, Xia began transmitting images directly into the feed. Images of her homeworld, of the Celestial Alliance, of the enemy that approached. Earth, and finally images of what could be Earth working together with the Alliance sharing technology, advancing beyond what humans had thought possible. Catherine Wells was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke. "Who are you? And what do you want?" With Earthsia looked at Samantha, indicating she should translate. Samantha took a deep breath and began the most important diplomatic exchange in human history. "She is Shia of the Celestial Alliance. They have been watching us for centuries. They come now because we face a common enemy, one that threatens both our species. She comes as an ally, offering knowledge and technology in exchange for our help." Catherine Wells' face showed skepticism. "And why should we trust this information, Dr. Green? Why should we trust her?" Samantha looked at Zia, who stood tall and dignified beside her. "Because if she meant us harm, she would not have revealed herself. She would not have sought me out in this remote research station. She would have struck without warning, like the enemy that approaches us now." The communication ended with Catherine Wells promising to convene an emergency session of the Council. Samantha and Zia were ordered to remain at Mars Colony 6 until further notice that night. As Zia rested in a makeshift bed, Samantha stayed awake watching the alien sleep. Her chest rose and fell in a rhythm not unlike a human's. The star patterns on her skin seemed to glow softly in the darkness. Samantha wondered what would happen next. Would Earth listen? Would they accept Zia's offer of alliance, or would fear drive them to reject it? Everything depended on what the Council decided, and on what Samantha and Zia did next. 6 months passed as Earth prepared for the coming threat. The alliance with the celestial beings had transformed human technology. Ships with fold gate capability were under construction. Shield generators were being installed around major cities and orbital stations. Fear had given way to determined preparation as humanity realized the scale of the danger they faced. Samantha and Zia had been relocated to a special facility on Earth, a remote compound in the mountains of what was once called Colorado. There they worked with a team of scientists and military personnel, developing strategies against the Voidwalkers and exploring the bridge capacity that Zia had discovered in Samantha. The training was difficult, more challenging than anything Samantha had ever attempted. She had to learn to open her mind to allow Zia in while maintaining her own identity. The first attempts had been disorienting, leaving her with migraines and confusion, but gradually she began to understand. Today they sat facing each other in a specially designed chamber, Shia with her 4 arms resting on her knees, Samantha in a similar position. Their eyes were closed, their breathing synchronized. "Remember," Shia said softly, "do not force the connection. Let it form naturally, like water flowing into empty spaces." Samantha nodded and relaxed her mind. She had learned to visualize the process, imagining her consciousness as a room with doors that could open and close. At first, she had kept all doors tightly shut, but now she allowed certain ones to stand ajar, inviting Zia in. She felt the now familiar sensation of another presence in her mind. It no longer frightened her. Instead, it felt comforting, like recognizing an old friend. Zia's thoughts were structured differently from human thinking, more circular, less linear. But Samantha had grown accustomed to the pattern. Images began to flow between them. Memories, emotions, knowledge. Samantha saw Zia's homeworld with its purple skies and floating cities. She felt the joy of soaring through crystal forests and the deep connection Shia's people shared with their environment. In return, she shared her own memories of Earth, the feel of rain on skin, the sound of ocean waves, the taste of fresh fruit. The connection deepened, and suddenly Samantha understood something that had eluded her before. The Voidwalkers were not just consuming resources, they were consuming life itself, energy, consciousness, everything that made a world vibrant. They were not just destroyers, they were devourers. The realization made her gasp, and the connection wavered. "Stay with me." Sia's voice sounded in her mind, not her ears. "Yes, you understand now the void. Walkers do not just take, they consume the essence of worlds and all who live upon them. How do we fight something like that?" Samantha thought her fear evident in the connection by understanding it. Shia responded by finding its weakness. All beings have weakness, even those as powerful as the Voidwalkers. The connection ended. Gradually, Samantha opening her eyes to find the room exactly as it had been, but somehow different. She felt changed by what she had experienced. The bridge was becoming stronger. Every day, General Laura Harris entered the chamber, her expression serious. As always, she had been assigned to oversee the defense project, a veteran of the Luna conflicts with a strategic mind that both Samantha and Zia respected. "Any progress?" she asked, looking between them. Samantha nodded. "The bridge is getting stronger. I was able to access deeper memories this time, and I learned something important about the enemy." She explained what she had discovered about the Void Walkers, their consumption of life energy, not just physical resources. The general listened her, face growing more concerned. "So conventional weapons might be useless," she said finally. "Even our most powerful explosives would just be more energy for them to consume." "Not useless," Shia interjected, "but limited. The Void Walkers can be damaged physically. It just does not stop them for long. They repair and adapt using the energy they have consumed." "Then what can stop them?" General Harris demanded. She looked to Samantha, indicating she should explain what they had discussed through the bridge. "We think they have a central consciousness," Samantha said. "Something that connects all the individual Void Walkers. If we can locate it, disrupt it, we might be able to stop them all at once." "And how do we find this central consciousness?" the general asked, skepticism clear in her voice through the bridge. Samantha said, "The Void Walkers use a similar connection to share information and energy. We believe I can use my growing abilities to detect that network, and once we find it, we can attack it directly." Shia finished. "Using celestial technology combined with human weapons, we have never had a bridge strong enough to attempt this before." The general considered this. The idea was radical, potentially dangerous, but they had limited options, and time was running out. "How long until you can attempt this?" she asked. Samantha looked at Zia, who tilted her head in thought. "A few more weeks of training. The bridge must be strong enough to withstand contact with the Voidwalker network. Otherwise what?" the general pressed. "Otherwise I could lose myself," Samantha admitted. "The Voidwalkers could overwhelm my consciousness." General Harris frowned. "This is too risky, Dr. Green. We can't base our entire defense strategy on one person, especially when failure means we lose our primary liaison with the Celestials. There is another option. Sia said we have been developing a device that could amplify the bridge, allow Samantha to connect without direct mental contact. A barrier of sorts. Show me," the general demanded. They moved to the laboratory where a team of human and celestial scientists worked together. The humans wore special neural interfaces that allowed them to understand celestial mathematics and engineering concepts beyond current human science. The collaboration had produced remarkable results. Dr. Elaine Morgan, the lead human scientist, approached with what looked like a circlet of silver metal, inlaid with pulsing blue light. "The prototype is ready for testing," she said. "We call it the Neural Bridge Amplifier, or NBA." Samantha smiled at the acronym, wondering if anyone had told the Celestials about the old Earth sport. Dr. Morgan continued. "It should allow Samantha to access the bridge while maintaining stronger barriers around her core consciousness. Essentially, she can look without being seen." "How effective is it?" General Harris asked. 93% effective in simulations," Dr. Morgan said, "but we haven't tested it with a real bridge connection yet. That's the next step test." "It now," the general ordered. Samantha looked at Jia, who nodded in agreement. They returned to the chamber, Samantha sitting in her usual position as Dr. Morgan placed the circlet on her head. The metal was cool against her skin, but quickly warmed, becoming almost unnoticeable. The team monitored from an adjacent room filled with equipment that measured brainwaves, energy patterns, and other metrics. Samantha only partially understood. General Harris watched with arms crossed, her expression guarded. "Begin," Jia said, sitting across from Samantha. They started as before, synchronizing their breathing, opening the mental connection. But this time, Samantha felt a difference. The NBA created a buffer, allowing her to experience the bridge while maintaining a stronger sense of self, could control the flow of information more precisely, directing her awareness, rather than simply experiencing what came. She pushed deeper into the connection, searching for the techniques Zia had described that might allow her to detect the void. Walker network. The celestial knowledge flowed into her mind, complex patterns that somehow made perfect sense. There she thought, as she identified a particular energy signature, like a shadow across the stars. That's them. She focused on the signature, trying to trace it back to its source. The connection strained, growing thinner as she reached further. Then suddenly she felt it, a vast consciousness, cold and hungry, ancient beyond imagining. She had found the void. Walkers, in that instant, the presence, became aware of her. She felt its attention shift like a predator noticing movement. A tendril of darkness reached toward her through the bridge. Samantha gasped as fear shot through her. The NBA flared with energy, creating a shield between her mind and the darkness. She pulled back, severing the connection abruptly. She found herself on the floor of the chamber, Gia kneeling beside her, concern evident in her alien features. General Harris and Dr. Morgan had rushed in, alarms blaring throughout the facility. "What happened?" the general demanded. "What did you do?" "Found them," Samantha said, her voice shaking. "They're closer than we thought, much closer." And her voice caught. "They know we're looking." The implications were serious. The element of surprise was gone. The Void Walkers now knew that Earth had the capability to detect them, perhaps even attack their network. "We need to move up the timetable," General Harris said, turning to her aide. "Alert all defense stations. Put the fleet on high alert, Doctor." Morgan helped Samantha to her feet. The NBA had protected her, but the experience had left her drained. The scientist removed the circlet, examining it with concern. "The circuits are burned out," she said. "It overloaded. Can you repair it?" Samantha asked. Doctor Morgan nodded. "But it will take time, and we'll need to strengthen the buffers. If you're going to attempt that again, the protection needs to be much stronger." She had been silent, studying Samantha with those swirling eyes. "What did you see?" she asked, finally. Samantha shuddered, remembering hunger. She said, "So much hunger. They've consumed so many worlds, so many species, and they never stop. Their hunger only grows." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "We have 2 weeks at most, General," Harris said, breaking the silence. "They'll accelerate their approach now that they know we can detect them." The 48 hours passed too quickly as Earth prepared for the coming battle. Ships moved into defensive formations around the planet, while civilian populations were evacuated to underground shelters. The combined human and celestial fleet numbered just over 200 vessels, not nearly enough against the thousands of Void Walker ships approaching, but they had advantages the enemy did not expect. Samantha stood on the bridge of the flagship Defender, watching as officers hurried to their stations. The ship was a marvel of combined technology. Human ingenuity paired with celestial knowledge had created vessels faster and more powerful than either species could have built. Alone, General Harris joined her at the observation window. Her uniform was crisp, her posture straight, but Samantha could see the tension in her eyes. "Are you ready, Dr. Green?" she asked. "As ready as I can be," Samantha replied. The third generation NBA sat on her head, lighter and more powerful than previous versions. It would allow her to coordinate with Gia and other celestial bridges, creating a network to counter the void. Walker consciousness. Gia entered the bridge, her blue skin luminous against the darker human technology she had abandoned, the practice of hiding her extra arms now moving with the natural grace of her species. The human crew no longer stared. Many had worked alongside Celestials for months now, differences becoming familiar, even comfortable. "Any change in their approach?" Gia asked. General Harris shook her head. "They've reorganized faster than we hoped. The first wave will reach our outer defenses within the hour." On the main screen, the Void Walker fleet appeared as a dark mass moving inexorably toward Earth. Each ship was angular and black, seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved in perfect formation, like a single organism rather than individual vessels. Samantha felt a chill remembering the vast consciousness she had touched. The hunger, the cold determination. Their ships were extensions of that will tools for consumption. The plan had been debated extensively over the past 2 days. A direct confrontation would be suicide. The human celestial fleet vastly outnumbered. Instead, they would use the NBA-enhanced bridge to disrupt the Void Walker network, while simultaneously deploying a new weapon developed by the Joint Science Team. Dr. Morgan had named it the Resonance Cascade, a device that could amplify the natural frequency of the Void Walker ships, causing them to tear themselves apart. The challenge was getting close enough to deploy it. The weapon had to be placed at the heart of the enemy. Fleet Captain Maya Lin approached the central table where a holographic display showed the deployment of forces. She was young for her rank, only 30, but had distinguished herself in the Mars conflict. Her ship, the Swift, had been chosen for the crucial mission. Captain Lin nodded to Shia and Samantha. "The Swift is ready," she said. "My crew understands the risks. We'll get the resonance cascade where it needs to go." "Thank you," Captain General Harris said formally. "But the Swift will not be alone. The celestial ship Starsong will accompany you." Providing additional cover, Shia looked surprised. This had not been part of the original plan. The Starsong was the fastest ship in the celestial fleet with advanced stealth technology, but it had been designated to evacuate key personnel if Earth fell. "Who authorized this change?" she asked. "Did Catherine Wells," said, entering the bridge. The Secretary General had aged visibly in the months since first contact, the strain of preparing Earth for this moment etched in her face. "If we're committing our best ship to this mission, the Celestials should do the same. This is a joint operation after all." She studied the human leader, then nodded slowly. "The Starsong is indeed our finest vessel. Its captain Nexar is our most experienced commander. If anyone can guide the Swift through the Void Walker fleet, it is him." With that settled, the final preparations began. Captain Lin returned to the Swift while communications were established with the Starsong. The rest of the fleet moved into position, forming layers of defense around Earth. Samantha adjusted the NBA on her head, connecting briefly with Shia to ensure the system was working properly. The connection was clear, stronger than ever before. Through it, she could sense the other celestial bridges stationed throughout the fleet, forming a network that would allow instantaneous communication and coordination. General Harris moved to the command chair. "All stations report," she ordered. "Communication systems online," came the reply from Lieutenant Claire Rodriguez. Her fingers moving across the console fold gates at standby. "All ships reporting ready, weapon systems at full capacity," added Major Alan Kelly. "The new particle beams are charged and targeting systems locked, shields at maximum strength." Commander Dana White confirmed, reinforced with the celestial harmonics. "Very good," General Harris said, her voice steady. "All personnel to battle stations." The alert sounded throughout the ship, crew members securing equipment and moving to their assigned positions. Samantha and Zia took their places in specially designed chairs that would allow them to maintain the bridge connection throughout the battle. They did not have to wait long. The first Void Walker ships appeared at the edge of the defensive perimeter, moving with unnatural speed and precision. "Here they come," General Harris said. The outer defense platforms engaged, targeting the lead ships. Energy beams lanced across space, striking the dark vessels. Some exploded immediately. Others seemed to absorb the attacks, continuing forward unharmed, enemy ships breaching the outer perimeter. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported multiple contacts approaching the secondary defense line. General Harris nodded. "We expected this deploy squadron." A group of smaller, faster ships broke formation, moving to intercept the advancing Void Walkers. They were piloted by veterans who had volunteered for this dangerous mission, knowing the odds of survival were slim. Their job was to slow the enemy advance, allowing the main fleet time to target key vessels. Samantha watched as the brave pilots engaged the enemy, dodging and weaving through the Void Walker formation. Some managed to score direct hits, creating openings in the enemy lines. Others were destroyed, their ships breaking apart in silent explosions. "It's time," General Harris said, looking to Samantha and Gia. "Begin the bridge disruption." Samantha closed her eyes, focusing on the NBA. The device hummed as she extended her consciousness outward, connecting with Zia and through her to the other celestial bridges together. They formed a unified mental network stronger than any individual could achieve. Through this enhanced awareness, Samantha could sense the Voidwalker consciousness, a vast, dark presence directing the attack. She could feel its cold determination, its ancient hunger. Now she said to the other bridges together, they struck at the enemy network, not attacking directly, but introducing subtle disruptions. Confusion, chaos, breaking the perfect coordination that made the Voidwalkers so effective. The effect was immediate. Some enemy ships slowed, others changed course, colliding with their allies. On the tactical display, Commander White tracked the results. It's working, she reported. Voidwalker formations are breaking down, coordination between their ships is failing. But the enemy adapted quickly. As Samantha had discovered during her earlier connection, the Voidwalker consciousness could repair itself. The disruption would not last long. Swift Starsong. Deploy now, General Harris ordered. The two ships activated their engines, moving rapidly toward the heart of the enemy fleet. Both vessels were equipped with advanced stealth technology, rendering them nearly invisible to Voidwalker sensors. But they would not remain hidden for long through the bridge. Samantha tracked their progress, feeling Captain Lin's determination and fear. The Swift moved expertly through the chaotic battlefield, dodging enemy fire and debris. The Starsong matched its movements, the two ships working in perfect coordination. They're approaching the target zone, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. The heart of the enemy fleet was a massive vessel, unlike the others. A central command ship controlling the surrounding armada that was their target. The resonance cascade had to be deployed there to have maximum effect. Samantha felt a sudden shift in the Voidwalker consciousness, a focusing of attention. The enemy had detected the Swift and Starsong. They've been spotted, she warned. Through the bridge, General. Harris reacted immediately. All ships provide cover fire. Draw their attention away from the Swift. The human celestial fleet moved forward, launching a full-scale attack. Energy weapons fired, creating a spectacular light show against the darkness of space. The Voidwalkers responded, their ships turning to meet this new threat. But not all of them. Samantha sensed a group breaking off, pursuing the Swift and Starsong. They need help, she said, opening her eyes. It's too risky. General Harris replied, if we divert more ships, our defensive line will collapse, then I'll help them. Samantha closed her eyes again, focusing the bridge on the Voidwalkers pursuing the Swift. She could not disrupt their entire network, not anymore, but she could target these specific ships. She pushed her consciousness into their connection, introducing images and sensations to confuse them. False targets, ghost readings, anything to draw them away from the Swift. The NBA strained with the effort, heat building against her skin through the bridge. She felt Zia's concern. You're pushing too hard. Her thoughts whispered. The NBA can't handle this level of connection. Just a little longer, Samantha replied. The Swift needs more time on the tactical. Display. The Swift and Starsong had nearly reached their target. The massive Voidwalker command ship loomed before them, its surface rippling with dark energy. 1 year after the battle that saved Earth life had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The alliance between humans and the celestial beings had evolved from a military necessity to a cultural exchange. Celestial technology had transformed human society, while human creativity and adaptability had influenced celestial thinking. Samantha walked through the memorial gardens, a peaceful space created to honor those lost in the conflict. Captain Maya Lin and her crew were commemorated with a central monument, their sacrifice remembered by all. The nearby memorial to the Starsong crew featured celestial design elements, symbols of honor from their homeworld. So much had changed, Samantha thought. Yet the most profound change was within herself. The neural bridge amplifier had been refined, no longer burning out with extended use, though she rarely needed it now. The bridge between her and Zia had become permanent, a constant awareness of each other that transcended physical distance. Good morning. Zia's thoughts brushed against her mind. The alien woman was halfway across the planet, working with a team in what had once been Australia, yet their connection remained clear. Morning. Samantha responded through the bridge. Are you ready for today? A feeling of affirmation flowed through their connection mixed with anticipation. Today marked the launch of the first joint exploration vessel. The Pioneer would journey beyond the solar system staffed by both humans and Celestials. Its mission, to establish contact with other species to extend the alliance and to search for any remaining Voidwalker threats. Samantha made her way to the transport pad, a celestial technology that had revolutionized Earth travel. She stepped onto the circular platform, spoke her destination, and felt the familiar tingle as her molecules were disassembled, then reassembled thousands of miles away. She materialized at the Central Command Facility in Geneva, where Earth's new government coordinated with the Celestial Alliance. The building itself was a marvel of combined architecture, human elements of stone and glass, merging seamlessly with the organic flowing designs, favored by the Celestials. Catherine Wells, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, greeted her. The former Secretary General had aged but carried herself with the same dignity and purpose. Dr. Green, the Council is waiting, she said formally, though her eyes held warmth. They had become friends through the trials of the past year. Samantha nodded and followed her into the council chamber. A circular room with seats for representatives from Earth and all 7 worlds of the Celestial Alliance. General Harris was there, along with other military and scientific leaders. Xia sat among her people, her blue skin luminous in the chamber lighting. As Samantha entered, Xia rose and approached. The two embraced, no longer concerned with the differences in their physiology. The room fell quiet as everyone watched the bridge between their species, a living symbol of their alliance. The meeting began with reports on the Pioneer's final preparations. The ship incorporated the best technology from both civilizations. Its engines could create fold gates large enough to transport the entire vessel across vast distances. Its sensors could detect life forms and energy signatures from light years away. Its defenses were formidable, though everyone hoped they would not be needed. Dr. Morgan presented the latest improvements to the ship's bridge technology. Now all crew members, both human and celestial, could connect through a network similar to but less intimate than the one Samantha and Zaya shared. It would allow for instantaneous communication and coordination, essential for the mission. When all reports were complete, Catherine Wells stood. The council has reached a decision regarding command of the Pioneer, she announced. Samantha felt a flutter of anticipation through her connection with Xia. Both had applied for positions on the ship, though neither expected to be given command. After careful consideration, Wells continued, "We have decided that the Pioneer requires joint leadership. The human representative will be..." She paused, looking directly at Samantha. Dr. Samantha Green. Murmurs of approval spread through the human contingent. Samantha felt a surge of surprise and honor. And representing the Celestial Alliance, Wells continued, "Ambassador Xia." Now it was the Celestials' turn to signal approval, their musical language filling the chamber with harmonious sounds. Xia's star patterns glowed brighter, a sign of emotion among her people. "Together, they will lead our first joint expedition," Wells concluded, "beginning a new chapter in our shared history." After the meeting concluded, Samantha and Xia found themselves alone in an observation lounge overlooking the shipyard, where the Pioneer waited their new home for the coming years. The vessel was beautiful, sleek and powerful, a testament to what their species could accomplish together. "Are you ready for this?" Samantha asked, both aloud and through their connection. Xia's 4 hands moved in a gesture that had become familiar, a sign of contemplation. "I have been preparing for this moment since I first left my homeworld to contact Earth," she said. "And yet nothing could truly prepare either of us for what lies ahead." Samantha nodded, understanding perfectly. Through their bridge, she had seen glimpses of the galaxy as the Celestials knew it. Vast, beautiful, filled with wonders and dangers in equal measure. Now she would see it firsthand, experience civilizations and worlds beyond human imagination. "But you won't be alone," she added, sensing her thoughts. "None of us will. That is the gift our alliance has, given us the knowledge that we face the universe together." Their conversation was interrupted by Dr. Morgan entering the lounge. The scientist approached with evident excitement. "Sorry to disturb you," she said, "but we've received the final component. For the Pioneer, the Celestial Crystal Matrix." The crystal matrix was perhaps the most significant technology shared by the Celestials. A living crystal that could store and process information in ways that surpassed any human computer it would form. The heart of the Pioneer serving as both navigation system and data repository. "We're installing it now," Dr. Morgan continued. If you'd like to observe, they followed her to the shipyard where the Pioneer dominated the landscape. The vessel was nearly complete, its hull gleaming in the afternoon sun. A team of human and celestial engineers worked at an open panel near what would be the bridge as they approached. Samantha noticed a crystalline structure being carefully positioned within the ship. The matrix pulsed with inner light-changing colors as it interfaced with the surrounding systems. It was beautiful, almost hypnotic. The lead celestial engineer, a being named Thorn, approached Zia, speaking in their musical language. Through their bridge, Samantha understood the Matrix has accepted the ship. It recognizes the dual nature of our creation and has adapted accordingly. This has never happened before. She translated for the others, though Samantha had already understood. The significance was clear. The crystal itself, a semi-sentient organism, had recognized and accepted the joint human-celestial effort, something unprecedented in celestial history. "It is a good omen," Xia said. The installation complete, they toured what would be their home for the foreseeable future. The Pioneer was designed for a crew of 150 humans and celestials working in all areas of the ship. No separation, no designated sections for different species. It was truly integrated. The bridge featured command chairs modified to accommodate both human and celestial physiology. The science labs contained equipment from both worlds merged into new configurations. The living quarters were adaptable to the different environmental needs of the crew. "This ship represents everything we've accomplished together," Dr. Morgan said, pride evident in her voice, "and everything we might yet achieve." The launch date was set for 1 week later, time enough for final preparations and goodbyes. Though with the advances in communication technology and the bridge network developed from Samantha and Zia's connection, no one would truly be out of touch. The night before launch, Samantha stood on the balcony of her apartment looking up at the stars. Soon she would be, among them, a journey no human had made before. The thought was both terrifying and exhilarating. Through the bridge she felt Sia's presence approaching before she heard the door. The alien woman entered silently, moving to stand beside her. Both looked upward at the star-filled sky. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked after a moment. "Your involvement in all this, the bridge. The changes to your life." Samantha considered the question. She had been a scientist on Mars, happy in her research dedicated to her work. Then Zia had landed near her station, changing everything, forever altering the course of her life and human history. "No," she said finally. "I regret the losses, the lives sacrificed in the conflict, but not the bridge. Not our connection, not the alliance." She turned to look at her friend, her partner, her bridge through Xia. She had experienced wonders beyond imagination, had touched minds and hearts across the stars, had helped save her world, and perhaps countless others. How could she regret that? Xia nodded, her star patterns glowing softly in the darkness. "My people debated for generations whether to contact humans. Some feared you would bring chaos to the order we had established. And did we?" Samantha asked with a small smile. Xia made the musical sound that Samantha recognized as laughter. "Yes, beautiful chaos. Humans ask questions we had stopped asking, challenge assumptions we had taken for granted. You force us to grow, to evolve, just as we share our knowledge with you."